There are so many good things about living in New York City.
Just moved here.
Today we're talking about all the great reasons to move to New York City. You're listening to How to Move to New York City, an instruction manual for the biggest move of your life. I interviewed New Yorkers, new and seasoned, from across every borough on the topics that matter most when integrating into a new place. Number 1, New York City is the creative capital of the world. The city has over 170 museums, over 120 live music venues, and over 40 theaters. Creative people are everywhere in the city, so if you want to be around people who are creating, it's a great place to be. And there are a lot of opportunities to be creative yourself.
We go to the theater as much as we can, and we go to museums, and we go to listen to music, and there are plenty of places around Brooklyn that you can go, and I mean, there's no cover charge in a lot of these places, and you can go and for the price of a drink.
You buy a drink and they pass a bucket and you throw $10 in or $20 in, and it's like, wow.
Really awesome jazz because there's so much talent here.
Yes.
People are here, world-class talent, and they're not all on Broadway or on TV or in movies. Some of them are in little bars playing a set at 6:30 at night.
You'll find a place. That's one thing I have to say, like the nightlife on Staten Island it's pretty good. There are events island-wide. So whether you want South Shore, North Shore, there's something to do on Friday, like practically every night, honestly.
2, you enjoy people. New York City is the most populated city in the country, and it's also the most dense. So for only a certain amount of space, you have a lot of people. And so what that means, you just have to be comfortable being a part of the crowd. And there are a lot of beautiful things about that. People will come up to you and ask you for directions. Something will happen and you'll both be able to have commentary on it. So sometimes it can be a nuisance, but also sometimes it can be a lot of fun.
This is another thing about, I think it's surprising to a lot of folks. I grew up northeast of here in rural Pennsylvania, Matamoros, Pennsylvania. And my sister is still there, and my sister and I will be on the phone, and I'll say, well, listen, I gotta go. I just ran into somebody from the building, and she's just aghast that, wait a minute, you're walking on the street of New York City and you met somebody, you know somebody?
I used to be very in the background, so to speak, and then it was like, just do it. Like, just go ahead and sign up, just show up. It led me to, first off, find out more about myself than previous, and then interacting with people. That has led me to come across so many different people, ideas. I've learned so many new things. I've created friendships. You know, if somebody says, oh, Jade, do you know where I could do XYZ? I'm like, oh, you could go here, contact this person, you could try this restaurant, this, that, and other. Like, I always want to go ahead and bridge that gap, so to speak. And it's something that I love to do. If I was at home, who am I really connecting,
3, you love to walk.
Which is cool. I walk an average of 60 to 90 minutes a day just in the normal course of going where I need to go, not going for a walk.
For me, the top way to get around, and probably the best way to get to know the city, is on foot. And as you move from neighborhood to neighborhood, you'll see that each little corner of the city has a lot of personality and a lot of different energy going on. I'm in Harlem, as I walk south from Harlem into Morningside Heights, then eventually, Upper West, and then, Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea, whatever. If you do that whole walk, you'll see that like every 10 blocks or so, there's a completely different spirit.
New Yorkers walk as much as 3 times as much as the average American. So if you move here, chances are you're going to be walking more, you'll become more active, and everything will feel sort of at your fingertips. 4, you want to be near the experts or you want to elevate your career.
I think this is the type of city where there's a little bit of something for everyone. I'm in the field of science. I'm doing neuroscience research, so there's a lot of stuff happening in that sphere. But for people that are in finance, there's something going on. For people that are in art and, creative endeavors, there's something going on.
One of the positive sides of being in a place of constant competition is that you have some of the top whatever. So in science, in the arts, in business, whatever, You are attracting so many people. There's so much creative thought happening. There's a reason why the majority of gross domestic product, or GDP, which is kind of like the metric for the economy, most of it comes from cities like New York. 5. You want to explore your sexuality or alternate partnerships. So New York City has more queer people than anywhere else in the country, and that also creates a wide community of acceptance and celebration. And so you might be somewhere where you don't feel as comfortable expressing your sexual identity, and so a lot of people find solace in New York City because they aren't so alone. It can also be a place where you can explore what your relationships look like. People don't really bat an eye if you hear someone saying that they're going to try an open relationship or they're going to try a non-traditional type of relationship. 6. It forces you to be decisive, but it's also a great place for exploration.
But honest to God, just, know who you are.
And one of the words that came to my mind was somebody who's open for adventure, but I think also somebody who's comfortable with themselves or kind of knows what they want.
We heard from different people that you really have to know who you are, you have to know what you're about. But I would counter that and say that you can come here and try and figure that out if you're not really certain. 7. You love being around a lot of different cultures, and you love being around people who are not like you.
We walk out of our building, and by the time we get to the corner, we have heard at least 5 languages. Russian, Chinese, Urdu, Yiddish, everything. And so, it's lovely.
You have Little Liberia, which is like in a Park Hill area of Staten Island. Then you have like Little Sri Lanka along Victory Boulevard. There's something for everyone. So it's like you don't have to really come out here and feel isolated. Because like I said, it's rich in diversity. So that's one of the great things about the island. So it's like, okay, whatever you're seeking, and if you're no matter if it's something that's familiar to you or something that's different, it's here. We have it.
I feel like Crown Heights is like so many insane random locations. Like if you like churches, just go walk in one of the churches one day, maybe on a Sunday, Saturday. They have like such vibey music and there's people all singing, so it's good.
New York City speaks over 200 languages. It is one of the most religiously diverse places, and there's cuisine from every corner of the world. If you're used to living in a place where everyone generally has the same background, everyone shares the same religion, everyone sort of eats the same, coming to New York is going to be a big shock, but maybe in a good way. The diversity of New York City is what makes it unique. People say that cities like Chicago are American cities, and that New York City is a global city. And you know what is a good side effect of a lot of cultures? Good food. Try the food.
Yeah, try the food. This city has so much good food. Like, I know once I'm done with this, I'm going to go find some good food because I'm in Greenpoint.
8. New York City is more than just Manhattan.
There's so much more to the people, the places. It's way more also than Midtown Manhattan alone, which we can see in our background. It's like, I just think about all the opportunities I've had to go to places beyond like what's familiar to folks through popular culture, and to see that like New York City has places, like I said, with the Upper East Side, but even more so beyond, that feel so residential, sometimes quaint, family oriented, that feel, everyone knows New York City is a multicultural city, but like, I just think about like you go out to like Forest Park in Queens, and that's like one vibe, right? Exactly what I described, families. Like, I've just started seeing someone who lives in the Bronx, and like his part of the Bronx, Pelham Parkway, also feels the same sort of like, it's quiet, it's calm. Doesn't matter if it's like Sunday morning or if it's like a Wednesday night. Like, it's just...
So, I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised. A lot of people think that the city, quote unquote, is just Manhattan. So I would say look around.
There are 5 different boroughs, people. Okay, there are 5 boroughs, some of which are completely separated by water. And New York City is more than just Central Park and food carts and skyscrapers. There's so much more to the city. 9. You might have to love New York City whether you like it or not because you're kind of forced to move here.
Very early on, Deb would say, I could never live here.
No.
I could never
No.
live here. I heard that for years and years and years. And no, never say never, because here we are. Grandchildren actually have the gravitational pull of the sun.
So I was a Southern girl from a small town and would visit New York and enjoyed what it had to offer, but I was always just so glad to get out of here. What changed was spending a lot of time here visiting our daughter, and then when she had her grandson, who is now 7, when he was born, it was like, how long can you stay? Well, we're going home in a couple of weeks. When's the latest you can stay? So
I was dating someone for 2.5 years, and he moved to Brooklyn about a year before I was going to be able to make that move. And it wasn't something that I was happy about in the moment, but I was like, okay, we're going to navigate. So we did like a long distance relationship for a year. And we were planning after I finished grad school to move in together. But he got cold feet just before that process. And like, it made sense. Like his cold feet were really rooted in like, we're not happy. And so he went through this process just 3 months before I graduated grad school and like was planning to make the transition of pulling away. As I was graduating grad school, we were breaking up, which was very hard, very painful. But also it meant that like, because I already had the wheels in motion for moving here, like I got a job offer. And so I was like, okay, like, I mean, it wasn't just like a logistical thing for me. It was also like an emotional, like community, like the idea of community and like coming here thinking you have someone who is built in and then figuring out, oh, you don't, like a whole different beast.
Sydney faced a hard situation where she was going to move to New York City explicitly because her partner moved here first. And while it was a difficult process, she made it work, and now she loves her life here. So if you find yourself here and you're just not really sure if it's going to work, just keep moving forward and give it some time because it might end up being the best place you've ever lived. That's it for the top reasons to move to New York City. Follow along at How to Move to NYC to see more episodes. You're one step closer to the biggest move of your life. And of course, big shout out to all the New Yorkers that spoke to me from across all the boroughs. Thank you so much for your input. You're making it easier for future New Yorkers to move here.